If you say goodbye to me tonight, I'll just say goodbye. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. We're going to talk about the 5v5 best teams on offense that you're going to take this season, or that you can take. It's your option. I'm not prognosticating that you're going to. I anticipate that you're going to take some variation of these, though, because they're really good. They're like super good, and you should totally take them. So keep in mind, this is the offensive teams. We're doing a defensive teams video released at the exact same time. There will be a link in the video description, or you can also just go to, if you wait till the end of this video, there will be a link there that you can click on if you want to just be lazy. So don't miss the defensive teams either, folks. There's a lot of weird stuff. So huge shout out to my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Couldn't do what I'd do without you. Really appreciate you. Every single one of you you're vital. I really appreciate it. truly. And if you want to support the channel for free, folks, all you've got to do is hit that like button, subscribe, comment, do something to mount the algorithm. The patrons have mounted the algorithm. Have you? Let's get into it, shall we, folks? This isn't where I parked my car. What the heck? There we go. Whoa, where is Jabba on the offensive side? Madness. This is so crazy. So, alright, folks, here's the thing. In this day and age, so we're talking about the meta, right? We're not talking about the like generalized, what we should always do. We're talking about this specific season especially, and right now a lot of people have the Aphra Datacron, and they know how to use it, and it's a problem, guys. It is a problem, and so you need to change things. In fact, I need to change things. Hold on. Whoa, look at that. Gamorrean Guard is gone. He is outro. And here's the thing, folks. You want Boba on offense, on your offensive Jabba teams, if you can. This is the comp you want to take. The thing is, Jabba wins the mirror match pretty well. Beats, he'll beat Kenobi decently. And otherwise, he'll beat most other things. He even shows a lot of promise against certain builds of the new Reva squad. I don't really know. I haven't tested that yet. I'm not willing to commit to that team being able to just be taken down by Jabba. But I will say, it's very good on offense, in fact, if you use it the right way. And you just need, Boba Fett's really strong on offense for this team. He really is. And the thing is, if you put Jabba down on defense against someone who has a really good Aphra Kron, she'll just take it out for really high banners. And you've wasted all those relics, all those everything, really inefficiently. And so sometimes, last season, I took Jabba for offense for the last week, and it was pretty nice. It was cool. He took down a few different teams. He's pretty fancy, guys. I would recommend sometimes considering taking him for offense, at least this season, folks. Next season, all bets are off, because we'll be out of the set 6 Datacron, and that therefore Aphra will suck, and not at least you'll do much better on defense against her with Jabba. Now, again, a surprise, Rey has been a stalwart on defense for a really long time, and so for both of these teams, I have an offense and a defense version, which you guys can check out on the different videos. On offense, I like to run the set 7 Datacron, where they buff, when they buff each other as resistance, they're giving Rey a buff as well, they're giving her a boost on offense or whatever. It's pretty nice, and you just pass the turn. Hero Finn can hand the turn to Poe, and then Poe can buff Rey. Jedi Training Rey is buffing her. Rey is in the meantime doing all of her fancy lifeblood moves and buffing herself, and she gets a bunch of bonus offense, guys. It's a fairly good team to do mirrors with. You'll be able to take out most teams, including Kenobi, including Lord Vader. Most teams, it's going to be a little bit ugly, but it's always a little bit ugly if you use Rey on offense in 5v5. So This is the team that I like for offense for her. The defense team is different though, which you'll see. It's actually fairly obnoxious. And honestly, you might be able to use that team on offense as well. Now, Jedi Master Luke on offense, he's alright. He's good. He needs a lifter, guys, I think. I mean, I know. And so I have him with some garbage Jedi here, kind of. They're not great. But they'll take out most things that you need to take out. And if you need a bigger punch, then sometimes, like if they have Kenobi, like I fought this all the time last season. If you have to fight a really strong Kenobi squad, Jedi Master Kenobi, then you can mix and match the characters from this Jedi Revan team and just throw them in here. And I mean, the problem, of course, is then you don't get a Jedi Revan team, but you're able to use you're able to take out one of the best teams out there with a Galactic Legend who is kind of just aging fairly poorly at this stage. I mean, he's good in all the other game modes. He's good. He could really use a little boost, honestly. People say Sith Eternal needs a boost. He kind of does too, but I really think Jedi Master Luke could. I'm really hoping like the Cal Kestis Survivor character really gives him a nice boost, because this and part of it's I just took all the good Jedi away from him, I guess, but I don't know, it just seems like, especially if you don't have a Datacron with a really high protection value to boost the entire team's offense, then like next season he's not going to be that great on offense if you don't have some kind of protection Datacron available. So yeah, well, this team, you know, it'll take out a lot of Galactic Legends. It'll take out some versions of Rey. Look careful, guys. The defensive comps for Rey are fairly cancerous. They're pretty gross this season, guys. If the person you're facing has good Datacrons. If they don't have Datacrons, then all bets are off. You just use Starkiller and wipe her out. Otherwise, like Jedi Master Luke or something even stronger might be required. So just stay tuned for those comps. Of course, come watch me live. You can find the link to my Twitch channel in the video description. It's free to watch, folks. There are ads. I'll warn you now, but you know, you can do a free Prime sub and then you don't have ads. It's good times. Good times. Love to have you guys around. People are forcing me to eat disgusting pineapple popsicles lately. It's fun for everyone but me. It's not okay. So, all right. I will say, I don't like Jedi Master Kenobi on defense that much. There's just so many things that counter it right now. And if you do want that comp, you're going to need to be very, very cautious in what you select, because some comps will just get beat by Grievous, or like the new Chupio-Cron even just destroys some versions of this Jedi Master Luke team. It's just not good on defense, in my opinion. I might put it on defense sometimes to surprise people, but it's just a surprise, that's all. Like, Inquisitors just destroy it, run roughshod over it. It's fairly disgusting. Now, the Sith Eternal squad, alright, so you'll see on defense, the comp that I want to run on defense for Lord Vader steals the comp that I want for Sith Eternal typically. Usually, we want the armor with Thrawn so that we can counter, and then you can use Watch somewhere else. But then, if you take the armor with Thrawn, and then, the Geobrood Alpha and either Sunfac or Sith Empire Trooper, and then you clock them so that your Thrawn is, 21 speed faster or slower than Armorer, then that means that Thrawn will go right after Armorer. Armorer can get that third stack of Beskar, and then you can take down Jedi Master Kenobi fairly well, and I just don't have that now. So this team is another one that could really use a boost. I wouldn't be surprised, folks, if you see me mid-season throwing him on defense with like Savage and just trying to mess with people. I don't know what's going to happen exactly, but he's like the current versions of Rey, we can maybe beat with Sith Eternal. It's just going to be a huge mess every single time. And, we want the armor for a lot of Maul teams on offense anyways, which we'll talk about in a minute. Now, here's the thing, folks. A lot of people this season, this is the season everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people in Kyber 1 are going to be, and Kyber 2, are going to be unlocking Reva, which is also known as Third Sister, apparently. I always try to search for Reva And it's like, no results. I'm like, oh yeah, she's just a mere third sister. She's a third. And yeah, so I have her unlocked, and her defensive comp, her offensive comp. Here's the thing: if you don't have Riva unlocked, which is the majority of people watching this, I realize I do think the Grand Inquisitor on offense is pretty important. He'll take out a lot of Galactic Legends. He'll take out Supreme Leader Kylo, take out Rey, Jedi Master Luke. Some versions of Sith Eternal I've even seen, though that's a little bit of a stretch sometimes. It depends on if you can get days on him or not. He can take down. They could take down. Well, not really Jabba. Not credible versions of Jabba, but you can take down most Galactic Legends with this team. I even had someone last season take down my pretty shabby Jedi Master Kenobi team with it. It's pretty good. This team does not suck, folks. On offense, on defense, it gets beat by like Adrad. Admiral Raddus teams just run roughshod over it. And so I do think that this is a mostly offensive team only. I think that once you get Riva, you could probably justify throwing her and the team on defense just to mess with people. But we'll talk about defense later. This is the offensive version of this team, though. And then we do have Maul and company here for offense as well. And Maul, I put out the Maldalorians video a while ago. Right now we have a cool datacron for Canderous that gives us a bunch of turn meter when we start, so we don't need Watt to help us this season at least not usually. Against certain comps, if it's a fully dark side team and you need to go first, then sometimes you do need Watt here anyways. However, this is basically the team here, folks, that I want to use. I have Jango modded to be tanky. He's just full health right now, which is so weird and so inconvenient in 3v3 because I don't want to remod him. But you can see just a ton of health. And then, if you get to a point where you need to use Watt with this team, some comps require it to be able to take down various Galactic Legends, which, by the way, you can take down a few different Galactic Legends with this team, quite a few of them, especially with the Canderous Omicron. And, you can put Watt with Jango, and you put the health tech on Jango, and because he's a separatist, he's gaining 5% health and protection every time. He actually eats the ultimate, or not the ultimate, he eats the whirlwind from Rey whenever she does it, as long as you have a long enough time period in between them, of course. But yeah, it's this team is really strong on offense, and I for one love having the Canderous Omicron. Once that Datacron is gone, then it's going to be a little different. But this team on offense is pretty good, and then Lord Vader can do a lot of cool stuff on offense or defense depending on what you want to do. I think I might have him on defense for this series this time. So go look at the comp for that. And then, all right, we have troopers. You guys know, that they just run around trying to look for targets of opportunity. If my opponent gives me an opportunity to use them, then I will usually try to take it. It's just a dicey thing, guys. Like, some people are able to block troopers entirely, and this team, it's very tough to block like all Wampa comps, all troopers comps, unless you go crazy on defense, in which case you're probably gonna struggle against my defense, because I tend to have a really tough defense. People struggle on my defense even if they keep everything for offense, kind of thing. So I like Kaiden. In 3v3, she can be pretty good on defense. In 5v5, she struggles more and more on defense because her supporting cast gets worse and worse. And not to mention, I need Stormtrooper for something else, and Stormtrooper and Iden are kind of like peas and carrots, folks. They're really good together. And without Stormtrooper, like, Shore Trooper is a pale imitation, to be honest. He's still decent here, but Stormtrooper is where it's at, honestly, if you want a really strong Iden team. And so on offense, you don't really notice that lack as much, not nearly as much. On defense, people are going to just wampa this. They're going to wamp the something out of it, I'll tell you that. And it's that, this team, unless you have really high relics, Wampa is going to run roughshod over it. And even, I mean, my Wampa at Relic 8 takes out a full Relic 8 version of this team. It just happens because enough bad shots are happening that Wampa gains so much turn meter that he ramps up and just never slows down. At least in 3s, the firing is more concentrated, and Iden gets more shots per turn meter gain ratio on the Wampa, and that team is just stronger. So, for what it's worth, folks, alright, I like more and more. I really enjoy Admiral Raddus on offense, folks, and so this is the team that I think is the best. Maybe not K2SO is maybe we swap it out for Cassian. Honestly, having one tank is probably enough. On defense, I do like K2 and Baze. If you want to run this on defense, having double tank is pretty nice. However, on offense, sometimes you want Cassian. Instead, I happen to have a Datacron that gives K2SO a little boost. People are like, he's like a galactic legend, and I'm like, no, he is not. He just takes a couple more hits here and there. It's nice, it's good enough, but it was good enough to warrant me getting him up from 5 to 7 relics, but otherwise, yeah, this, I don't know, like for this season, maybe in the next one, maybe we just want to have this be the comp instead of Cassian. Though, maybe we just drop Turret instead of Cassian too. I don't really know. Stay tuned on that one. I need to make like some kind of a faction essentials for this team comp. I just need more practice with it, more video footage to study. Now, here's a fun little interaction, or whatever you want to call it. A good I don't know, just method of approach for moving forward. So we need Vader for our Lord Vader comp. That's, you know, Darth Vader and Lord Vader, they go together. They're also peas and carrots, just like really broody and like angry peas and carrots. But Dr. Aphra, she really kind of does love having Vader on her team, and without Vader, one of the things that I've noticed though is she needs dark side droids, and the Grievous comp that I'm running right now is still doing really well on defense. I'll show you guys that in the defense video, of course, but they don't necessarily need B2 on that team, surprisingly. And so, with Aphra in her current Datacron state, you of course want BT1 and 000. IG-88, I mean, I have him at Relic 9 for the ship, but, you know, he does pretty well with he's like almost custom built for, you know, the third wheel, or the fourth wheel on an Aphra team, but then B2 is really nice on this team as well. I don't have them modded to be really good on defense. You can have a pretty good Aphra defensive team. If you want to make her super tanky, you can do that. I don't have the relics. I don't want to deal with that. On offense though, B2 is a pretty good stand-in. He's no Darth Vader, but he does pretty good. He's a good lad, and yeah, Grievous doesn't necessarily miss him. As you'll see if you watch the other video. Now, for bounty hunters, it's always awkward because there's so many different bounty hunter comps, and I typically only take one in 5v5. In 3v3, I can usually take like 3 or 4 bounty hunter comps, depending on the situation, what I'm trying to do. But in 5v5, I just typically take one. You have to mix and match a lot. So sometimes you're going to want Fennec lead against teams that have a lot of high debuff rates. You're going to want Zam almost always to boost your team's total speed. You want Bosk to be the fastest, Greef to be 1 speed slower. Mando has to be modded to be able to be slow enough to not pass up Greef in the time, or Greef and Bosk, so that they can both get their mass assists, so that Aura in her lead gives Mandalorian his contract, all of that stuff. This team is still really, really strong. I need to speed them up a little bit, and one of the things to keep in mind too is make your Malgus a little faster than you normally thought, because otherwise people are, even though Malgus gets like 160 extra speed, some bounty hunter teams are now out speeding Malgus if you make him slow enough. As I guess I'll show you guys in my defense video, because my Malgus gets bounty hunted sometimes, and it's embarrassing. Wampa womps things, guys. Yeah, he sometimes, honestly, at this point for me, he's just more of a backup. He's a cleanup. I very rarely use him as my primary option. If someone puts a team that I get to use Wampa on as my primary option, I get fairly excited. I'm like, yay, like that. It's really cool. All right, so we do have Kenobi here and see, check the unique box, and Kenobi shows up with the little diamond here because he's also on some of the Jedi teams. I do think that he's probably one of the best. He's not the very best. Like, I like General Kenobi the best as the Jedi here, if I had my druthers. But this team takes down most Rey squads, and it'll take down, you know, like Jedi Master Luke. Sometimes it'll take down even Supreme Leader Kylo. Sometimes you want, like, Darth Vader instead to take down Kylo. Just depends on the situation. But this team, I mean, it's not even an older team. It's starting to lose a little relevance because some of these teams and some of the Datacrons are really stretching the teams that they try to counter. Like, I just don't think that we're going to be using them to counter Rey for too long in, at least in this season. We'll see. You know, and if people don't have Datacrons that you're facing, if they're not going to use their sortie characters on Rey, then this team still has a lot of play. It also just takes down a lot of those mid-level teams as well. Lots and lots of unique, versatility with this squad. And EP Mara can kind of branch out on their own if they want to. I don't prefer to do that, but they can if you have, you know, if you want to use Darth Vader on this comp or something like that. So, like Darth Vader and Ninth Sister, for instance, could go pretty well if you have Reva unlocked or something already. Okay, so Mon Mothma, this is like the cleanup special, you know, like they're really good at cleaning things up, folks. They're just you know, they're like a bunch of magical janitors. You know, like they're the Harry Potters of Star Wars. They clean things up. They have broomsticks, you know. That's I don't know, that metaphor really doesn't work that well, but let's see. Bistan here instead of Cara Dune because we need Cara for a Sana squad, which I'll show you guys later. For defense, but this team usually doesn't get an initial kill, but they are great at cleaning up almost every Galactic Legend, including Jabba. They do a really good job of that, so it's really cool. We have Night Sisters here. The best version lately, to my opinion, is Talia because, let me tell you, she has her Dispel ability, which is really nice, her Cleanse ability, and that's basically all you need to know. We have Bad Batch here as well. They kill a lot of stuff. A lot of people are trying to build a board now where it's Bad Batch proof, Trooper proof, and Wampa proof, and it's working because we're getting so many new characters and they're not expanding the board, which I don't know if I want them to expand the board, but they're not expanding it right now. This team is crazy good against a lot of different comps that we're going to be facing until it's not. Like sometimes it's just very hot or cold. Like, yes, they counter that, or nope, not really. And that's about as nuanced as it gets. Sometimes you're like, if you just check that box, does this counter X team? The thing that you have to watch out for, folks, is that there are a lot of sneaky like Sana teams out there that will just eat this squad for lunch. You just have to be real cautious because some Sana teams do just get demolished by Bad Batch. It's hard to tell, honestly. Okay, so we have Supreme Leader Kylo here for offense as well, and apparently I just left him on the bottom. Normally I keep my Galactic Legends up top, but yeah, this team is, so you can use Kylo with Night Sisters, or you know, like this is my offensive comps for Supreme Leader Kylo. On defense, he is almost always just going to have like Hux and crew with him. He has to have Hux. He has to have Hux on defense. On offense, he can be a little bit looser with what he wants. A lot of times he just wants Daka and Zombie. I just put Talzin and Asajj here because they're fun, especially when because Asajj has her Omicron. But if you do decide to use him on offense, you can go with Kylo with Daka Zombie in one comp, and then you can use Hux lead with First Order Type Pilot. Now that we don't have the Phasmacron anymore, it's like she's just like she's off the list. Like we've decided to move her, decided to employ her talents elsewhere, namely the bench. And this squad is, I don't know, it'll take some things out, depending how it's. I will say one of the most disappointing Omicrons that I've had applied on any team has been First Order Type Pilot. Not because it's a bad Omicron, but because it doesn't counter. It just seemed so imminent that we would find a Galactic Legend to counter with it, and it just never panned out. And I mean, at this point, I don't think it's going to. I thought it was going to. I told a bunch of people that I thought it was going to. And, you know, with the standard caveats of, like, we don't know anything for sure. Because all that extra speed, all the everything, like, it just seemed like we had all the tools. And that being said, it still does take out an awful lot, because blocking someone's turn meter is really nice. Just that, like, that's why Tuskens are so good on offense or defense right now, because people don't realize just how strong the turn meter train is, and if you take it away, that's why Jedi Master Kenobi is so strong on defense right now, because it still just steals the viability of a ton of different teams that would otherwise be able to run circles around it. So, anyways, there should be a link now at some point somewhere here where you can click on my defensive squads video. Remember, tomorrow I'll also have my core teams video that I show stuff from my alt. I'm going to try something a little different this time. I'm going to show it with no Galactic Legends at all. I'm just going to show the core teams that you want to use that don't have any Galactic Legends, so that everyone can have things that they can be working on, etc. So, anyways, I'm going to call it good here, folks. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.